Sparta's economic system was unlike any other in ancient Greece. At its core was a complex relationship with a group known as the Helots. Essentially, they were state-owned serfs, tied to the land and obligated to provide a significant portion of their agricultural output to their Spartan masters. This labor allowed Spartan citizens to dedicate themselves fully to military training and civic duties, rather than toiling in the fields. Another distinctive aspect of the Spartan economy was its system of land ownership. Every Spartan citizen received a plot of land known as a kleros. The word means allotment in ancient Greece. This allotment was worked by the helots, not the Spartians. This land was considered state property and could not be bought or sold, at least until the classical period. We'll actually get back to this. The kleroi system aimed to create a system of equality among Spartan citizens, although in reality disparities in wealth and power still certainly existed. Nevertheless, it reinforced the collective spirit and ensured that every single Spartan had the means to support themselves and their families. Now, Sparta's unwavering emphasis on military prowess profoundly shaped its economy. The Messenian Wars were a series of conflicts between Sparta and Messenia, a neighboring region in ancient Greece. These wars spanned over several centuries and played a central role in shaping Spartan history and society. The First Messenian War, usually dated to the beginning of the 8th century BCE, was triggered by Spartan expansionism and their desire to control the fertile lands of neighboring Messenia. The Spartans emerged victorious, conquering Messenia and enslaving its population. These Messenians later became known as helots. The Second Messenian War, usually dated to the middle of the 7th century BCE, was a response to a Messenian revolt against Spartan rule. The Spartans once again prevailed, but the prolonged conflict and heavy casualties left a lasting impact on Spartan society. The aftermath of the Messenian Wars had profound implications for Sparta generally. The subjugation of the Messenians during the First War provided Sparta with a large pool of labor, allowing Spartan citizens to focus on military training and warfare. The suppression of the revolt in the Second War is usually considered the genesis of the development of Sparta's unique social-political system, which they called eunomia. This system emphasized military discipline and obedience. The enslaved Messenians, or helots, as state-owned serfs, played a vital role in Spartan agriculture and economy. However, their presence also created tensions and the potential for unrest. This unrest ultimately contributed to Sparta's decline. During the classical period, Spartan citizens, called amongst themselves Spartiates or homoioi, the similars, were forbidden from engaging in trade or crafts, occupations seen as distractions and sort of devolutions from their martial duties. While this focus created a formidable military force, it also limited Sparta's economic development. The lack of a merchant class and skilled artisans made Sparta heavily reliant on the helots and the perioiki, another class of non-citizen residents who handled trade and manufacturing. The kleroi served as the economic foundation for the system of eunomia, providing the resources that fueled the primary unit of social organization in Sparta, the Syssition or mess hall. The produce from the kleroi, particularly barley, wine, and cheese, was not just for individual Spartan citizens' consumption. A significant portion was mandated as contributions to the Syssition itself. Each mess hall acted as a mechanism for redistributing surplus food back to the helots, the state-owned serfs who actually worked the kleroi. This redistribution served to maintain social stability and incentivize the helots to ensure their cooperation and labor, an incentivization which didn't actually always work. Furthermore, the Syssition itself played a crucial role in reinforcing the social hierarchy and cultural values of Sparta. We get a very polarized picture of life in these messes from our sources. The Spartans' simple meals and moderate consumption within the Syssition contrasted sharply with the helots' irregular and often excessive eating patterns outside, reflecting their respective positions in society, one high and one low. The Syssition served as a constant reminder of this social divide, further solidifying the Spartans' control over the helot population. Now, unlike the bustling commercial centers of Athens and Corinth, Sparta had a relatively limited trade network. This was partially due to its geographic isolation and partly to a deliberate policy to minimize contact with other city-states. Instead of using gold or silver coins like the rest of Greece, Sparta famously used iron bars as currency. This cumbersome and impractical form of money further discouraged trade with Sparta's neighbors and reinforced Sparta's unique economic model. Now, the kleros system, designed to promote equality among Spartan citizens, faced significant challenges. During Sparta's peak, the cleroi were indivisible and could not be bought or sold, reflecting a system designed to maintain equality among the Spartan homoioi. However, as the Spartan population declined, there's actually evidence of changes in these practices. The philosopher Aristotle's mention of a prohibition against selling what's called the ancient portion, archaia moira, of a kleros, suggests that at some point cleroi became alienable and inheritable, and it was possible to actually own multiple cleroi. The practice of partible inheritance, where land is divided among heirs, also led to the fragmentation of estates over time. This possibly created a growing class of impoverished Spartiates who struggled to maintain their citizen status and fulfill their military obligations. In Sparta, both sons and daughters had the right to inherit a portion of their parents' land, although daughters typically received a smaller share than sons. This inheritance system, known as diverging devolution, meant that property was dispersed among multiple heirs, including women, rather than simply being concentrated in the hands of a single male heir. Interestingly, inheriting land provided women with a degree of economic independence and influence within their families and communities, influence that Sparta is actually famous for. This was particularly significant in a society where land ownership was closely tied to social status and political participation, as it was throughout ancient Greece. This trend also contributed to the decline in the number of Spartan citizens over time. As land holdings were divided among multiple heirs, individual plots became smaller and smaller and less productive in themselves, making it increasingly difficult for individual families to maintain the economic requirements for membership in a Syssition, for full citizenship. This shift towards heritability and the accumulation of land indicates a departure from the original system of eunomia, the original principles of that system. It contributed to social inequality and the weakening of the Spartan state as a whole. It is also likely that the cleroi system was operating at its extreme limits, with just enough land and helot labor to support the Spartan population at its peak. In that case, any significant decline in population or productivity would put immense strain on this delicate balance. Unfortunately for the Spartans, this decline did in fact occur. The population steadily shrank from its height at the Battle of Plataea in 479 to its end in Leuctra in 371. This decline in the Spartan citizen population was a crucial factor in the weakening of the Spartan state. As fewer Spartiates were able to maintain the required contributions to the Syssition, the system's ability to redistribute resources and maintain social control over the helots was crucially compromised. This decline is likely attributable to a combination of factors, including the concentration of land ownership, the exclusion of outsiders from citizenship, and the inherent difficulties of maintaining a warrior society in the face of changing demographics. The cumulative effect of these challenges was a gradual erosion of the Spartan system as it existed for decades. The concentration of land ownership led to social inequality and unrest, while the decline in citizen numbers undermined Sparta's military prowess and strength. The mess hall, the Syssition, once a symbol of Spartan unity and discipline, became a source of tension and division. The final blow for Sparta came with the devastating defeat at the hands of the Thebans at Leuctra in 371 BCE. This defeat shattered Sparta's military dominance and exposed the underlying weaknesses of its economic and social structure. The once mighty Spartan state never fully recovered, and its unique system of land tenure, inheritance, and social organization gradually faded into history. Okay guys, that's it. Of course, as we always say, there's so much more to say on that topic. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you liked it, and I hope to see you guys again next time. Thank you so much.